Hello, and welcome to Popcorn News, something to watch while you eat popcorn. Do not try to comprehend it all. Nay, just eat the popcorn. There is a mystery about Monsieur le Comte de Saint-Germain. Some consider him to be almost supernatural. Others, more cynical, say quite the opposite. So we look to an old source. My source for today's popcorn news is a book originally published in 1912 and later republished by ForgottenBooks.org. The Comte de Saint-Germain by Isabel Cooper-Oakley. Writing in 1912, Isabel Cooper-Oakley reported that at the time that she wrote, there was no coherent, detailed account of Monsieur le Comte de Saint-Germain. At least as of 1912, details about Saint-Germain lay buried in the secret archives of many princely and noble families. Isabel Cooper-Oakley was able to determine that the Comte de Saint-Germain is not the same person as one Count Robert de Saint-Germain, a Jesuit born in 1708, who served as Minister of War under the French King Louis XVI. But here we get to where the question of, well, was this Monsieur le Comte de Saint-Germain some supernatural person? Well, the Landgraf von Hessen-Philipps Barchfeld once told an amazing story about Monsieur le Comte de Saint-Germain. Was he in age of supernatural years? The Landgraf merely noted that Saint-Germain was mysteriously acquainted with details of bygone times, about which only contemporaries of those periods could possibly know.
Saint-Germain says, "May I on this occasion speak of the heart to those of you who are perhaps familiar with the subject."
So there you have the one side of things, that some say that Le Monsieur de Saint-Germain was not of this earth, so to speak. But the other side of it is, for example, Secret Societies by Nesta H. Webster. And she tells a different version of Saint-Germain's supposedly marvelous age of hundreds of years old and not looking a day over 50. The Abbé Boruel, however, explains that Saint-Germain, in thus referring to his age as 1500 years, spoke in Masonic language, in which a man who has taken the first degree is said to be 3 years old, after the second degree 5 years old, or the third 7 years old, so that by means of the huge increase, the higher degrees conferred it might be quite possible for an exalted adept of Freemasonry to attain the age of 1500 years, but that's 1500 years in Masonic terms. So there you have it, the mystery of Monsieur le Comte de Saint Germain. Saint or mere mortal? And what about his connections to the Illuminati?